Hi, everybody. I'm Chainey, and this is the Southern Sinners Podcast. Trey is not with us today because yesterday was his birthday, and he is still in recovery. But I have some other guests here, no worries. I have Tyler from the YouTube channel Critical Hit.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
And who are you? Are you also from Critical Hit? Are you just his girlfriend? Are you just my sister?
I'm just your sister.
You're just my sister today? Okay.
Yeah. Also, my name happens to be Nikki. If you were wondering.
Yeah, I was trying to remember.
I get it.
But it escapes me. I've only known you for most of my life.
We know each other through our mutual friend Greg. So
through our mutual parents.
Yes.
Who the
Yes.
fuck is Greg?
So you have a new channel coming out.
Yes. For anyone listening, it's titled Critical Hit.
And what kind of channel?
Oh, I mainly do like video game stuff. Like I talk a lot about different video games. I like to review games, and I like to talk about shit in the industry. Is there anything that stands out to you right now that's going on that you want to talk about? Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so for a lot of people who play video games, a lot of people know about Shadow of War. Shadow of War just came out. It's a Lord of the Rings game that is also a sequel to Shadow of Mordor. And Shadow of Mordor was actually like a really good game, I could get into specifics, but I'm here to talk about Shadow of War and the fucking bullshit that Warner Brothers is putting us through. So, I guess Warner Brothers got this wild hair up their ass and decided, like, hey, let's just burn this franchise into the ground. And
are they secretly EA?
I would say they're way worse.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That is a strong accusation, sir.
We're talking about the people behind Mortal Kombat X's easy fatality microtransactions here. Like, I'm not fucking shitting you.
What about hashtag new lives matter?
Oh my god.
Microtransactions always make games better. You didn't know that?
I guess I've been out of the loop. I don't...
You know what I think every time I play a game that I just bought and got the whole game? You know what would make this game better?
If I could spend more money?
If I had to pay to win.
Right. See, like, I don't have a problem with microtransactions in, like, free-to-play games. Because those are basically your fee. Mm-hmm. But you've already paid a $60 upfront fee. Which, half the time, it's not even $60 anymore. $60 your standard edition, and then, like, your platinum edition's like $90 fucking dollars. And then they seriously expect you to pay more money to play their game. Like...
Well, I mean, from an industry standpoint, there you can do microtransactions well, like in the case of Riot. With League of Legends.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
They are a prime example of free-to-play done right.
Yes.
Where you can make a lot of money, but not ruin the game, or the experience of the game.
Right.
In the process.
Right, and see, that's what's sad, is, like, now, when you hear that microtransactions are in a game, it's an immediate turn-off. Even though it could very well be in, like, a perfectly okay game.
Yeah. It's the brick wall problem, where you force players into an inevitable brick wall, and you have to pay to get over the wall. Dragon Age, when they issued their... I know you can't see my sister, but the massive head roll when I said Dragon Age multiplayer.
Yeah.
When they did their multiplayer, which was a great, like, as a Dragon Age fan, I was so excited for it. Mm-hmm. Me and Nikki both were.
Yep.
And when we played it, it was very apparent very quick that you had to pay to make it past even the first level.
Right.
You couldn't, like, they they gave you a brick wall of enemies.
Right.
And the only way to get past it was to spend money on it. And we were like, oh, well then, fuck the multiplayer. And it wasn't even that good of a game in and of itself.
Right.
Right? Like, it was just sort of a cheaply, quickly thrown together way for EA to bank on you.
Which, they did that shit with Deus Ex. The entire game was built from the ground up by very talented developers. Then Square Enix came in and they're like, okay, now we're going to just add microtransactions to it. And it bombed the entire experience. There were people on like the development team going, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
But
that's the funny thing about, like you were talking about industry problems. I think the biggest problem in the industry is that a lot of the people who are the heads of the companies who come in after a game takes off and buy it out don't understand the industry that they're in.
Absolutely not. And I mean, if you hear the way that like executives talk in these big companies, they don't give a fuck about video games.
Right. They give a fuck about profit, which is okay.
Right.
But you would make more profits if you understood the market that you're in.
I would leave the big decisions like that to people who understand what fucking industry they're in.
Exactly.
Above all. Right.
Because, essentially, the market that you're in, what we're paying for is an experience.
Right.
Right? It would be like you have a titty bar, okay? Mm-hmm. And it starts out, you pay the fee at the door and you go in and you see titties. Mm-hmm. Alright? And then they're like, you know what would make this titty bar better? If we only put half-naked girls in the front and then you had to pay an extra fee to get through a second door where the titties are.
Right.
And then just they slowly keep adding more doors that you have to pay to get through to get to the titties. And it's like, look, I just wanted titties. There's a bunch of free ones on the internet.
Right. Until it gets to the point that you're driving away these people who were coming in the first place.
Exactly.
Because that's the shit that happened with Hooters, too. Like, they were just banking on people just coming in to see, like, not even half-naked chicks, just, like...
scantily
just
dressed.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And they're just banking on this shit. They didn't focus on their food at all, and then all of a sudden they bomb and they wonder why. Yeah.
They're, like, completely revamping themselves as, like, a family-friendly restaurant now. I don't know if you guys know that. That's very amusing to me.
They should rebrand, like, they should just rename
themselves. They're trying
themselves.
to rebrand Hooters.
Right, like, maybe you should get a new name, too.
Yeah,
because you're called Hooters. That's a euphemism.
That's okay. I went to a place called Cooters that specialty was serving all-you-can-eat crabs.
Wow.
So we were eating crabs at Cooters. And I don't think that they understood the pun.
You wouldn't call yourself Cooters.
No, I really don't think they understood the pun. I think Cooters probably came from whoever initially started the restaurant, because like, the environment of the restaurant was not that nature.
Right.
But it was very, like, we're eating crabs at Cooters.
Yeah. Well, like, cooter turtles are a thing. Like, I understand it hasn't always referred to vaginas. But
Cooter.
They're called cooters. I mean...
I'm gonna start, like, as an insult, instead of calling people cunts, I'm gonna start calling them cooters.
Jesus Christ.
Quit being such a cooter.
That leaves such a bad taste in my mouth.
I know, right? Like, and what do you say back to that? Because the insult catches you so off guard.
Yeah.
That you're just like, did you just call me a cooter?
What the fuck was that?
I'm not, is that new? Did I miss the memo that we say cooter now? But yeah, I definitely agree that we need more people making financial decisions that also understand the people who are spending money.
Right, because that's going to turn over your profit in the end.
Right.
I don't understand why the fuck they haven't gotten that through their heads. I mean, you get dipshit companies like Konami who start ousting people like Hideo Kojima, Koji Igarashi, the guys who founded their franchises Silent Hill, Metal Gear Solid, Castlevania, and just kicked them out. Like that wasn't what made your fucking name.
These are the same type of people that run these companies that for a long time were like, no one likes survival horror. And then are like really surprised when Resident Evil 7 comes out and it's a huge hit, and they're like, oh, I guess people did want a real survival horror.
They were saying that shit when Amnesia came out. You know how fucking big that game was?
Here's the thing about video games, though. Like, if people pay to play or to see movies in that genre, they'll pay to play a game because a game has like a fourth dimension. It's a movie with like a fourth dimension to it, right?
Interactivity, right?
Right, like it's an interactive movie that can force you into feeling whatever certain type of immersion that the developer is trying to get you to feel. Whatever, you can make a game that's a comedy, as South Park proved.
Right.
Or
Saints Row.
Yeah.
Saints Row. Yeah, Saints Row is like a parody.
Right.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
So you can make a video game that's a parody of video games, and it's hilarious. You can make a survival horror game that makes you feel the suspense, and you know, you can make fantasy. You can make whatever you want.
Right.
Yeah, like when
Heavy Rain is a murder mystery.
Right. Danganronpa.
Danganronpa is a very good murder mystery.
Yeah.
I would definitely recommend that to anybody who hasn't heard of it.
Yeah.
But, like, especially with survival horror, Dead Space. Like, the first Dead Space is a survival horror game.
Absolutely.
You have limited ammo, and it's not until, like, endgame, or, like, mid-game, endgame, where you get the big guns.
Right.
And even then, you got, like, 4 bullets for it.
Right. Like, it's a commodity by that point.
Right. But then the second one, they still kept a lot of those features, but it got way more shooty bang bang.
Shooty bang bang.
Shooty bang bang. And then
like they tried to change it from a survival horror into a first person shooter.
Right, and that's almost exactly what they did with Dead Space 3, where the enemies they weren't scary anymore. They just ran out, like, 4 of them, and you mowed them down. And just explosions, and whoa,
so basically guns. Michael Bay directed
Dead Space 3. And I just want to point out 2 things about Dead Space that EA fucked.
Yeah, you want to talk about another franchise that microtransactions have fucked over.
So, Dead Space 3 has, like, a weapon creation system.
Right.
Where you pick up parts and you build your gun.
Basically like crafting.
Yeah, a weapons crafting system. They turned that into, like, a microtransaction thing.
So you had to buy certain supplies or buy certain parts and shit, and oh my god.
And now, when I first got Dead Space, just kind of adding on to the bullshit that EA did, when I first got Dead Space 2, at least, there was a multiplayer online, where, like, half the people were the enemies, and then the other half is just, like, the shooters.
Right.
And this is on PlayStation, so it was free. The online was free. So, I get on. I haven't played in a very long time, but I get on, like, 2 months ago, and all of a sudden, I need, like, EA access. I have to pay EA for the privilege of playing their game online. Like an online access code.
Yes.
I am dead fucking serious.
Dead Space is not the...
Like, not even just specifically for game. Like, if I put in Inquisition and because you know how Dragon Age, you always have to connect to their servers?
Yeah.
If I put in Inquisition and it was like, you have to pay...
for our access code.
To play, I'd be like, no. I loved Dragon Age.
Yeah.
More than I think anyone should.
Yeah.
But I would never pay a monthly subscription fee for Dragon Age.
And that's pretty much what, like, EA
Not
Online
for
Access
any,
is.
like, I understand it for something like World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because it's an ongoing, you're on there, you know what I mean? Like, you're on their specific service specifically to play the game. It's an ongoing thing. I understand it for EverQuest. But not for a game that you purchase the entirety of the game.
Yes.
Especially a $60 retail fucking game.
Yeah.
Like, a premium $60 retail game does not need more access fees.
Yes.
Go fuck yourself.
And while we're on the topic of charging me for playing the game, another thing that I'm done with is releasing a game and then releasing DLC, which is an integral part of the game.
Oh my god.
So I have to buy the game and then buy the other part, like the last...
Yeah.
After the game, the last quest of the game, basically.
Yeah, getting right back to Shadow of War, in fact.
Okay.
You know, there's loot boxes littered throughout the entire fucking game.
There's like a market now.
Right. Which is, it's just basically
So when you get the loot boxes, is it like general loot, or is it like you have to pay to open the box?
Well, see, that's the thing. You open the boxes with the special currency, and the more, the chests that give you better loot are way more expensive than the common chest.
Mm.
So you pay for more of the special currency to get the better boxes. And the things in the boxes are, like in the game, you get the orcs.
Right, you get like your Nemesis orcs and stuff.
Right.
It all plays to the Nemesis system.
Right.
Which is something I could go on about, but anyway.
But the way you get the orcs like you're supposed to is you play the fucking game.
Right.
And you dominate them. Where when you fight them, you go, you don't just kill them, you dominate them, and now you can use them later.
Right.
Or you could just buy some special currency and get them out of a fucking box instead of playing the game.
And see, what's even more fucked about this is that you're not even paying for the orcs you want. You're paying for a dice roll.
Yes.
On random orcs.
Yeah, it's randomized.
Worse.
Yes.
Randomized.
It's loot box. That's what loot boxes are.
Yeah,
and that's what's becoming common.
If you're gonna ask me to spend money to get better quality loot, how dare you put it on a rando?
Yeah.
Where I can pay money and still get the same common sword.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Right. Oh, that's what these companies are banking on, because if they gave you exactly what you paid for right away, you wouldn't keep spending money on their loot boxes.
Right. But I'm not going to keep spending money on your loot boxes. If I want that loot and I decide it's worth it to pay for it, then maybe one time. But I'm not going to keep giving you money on the off chance that maybe I might get a unique item.
Right.
Well, see, I would love for everyone to have that mentality, but apparently it fucking works, because, so many of these idiots just have way too much money on their hands, and they decide to fucking support this shit. And that's what pisses me off the most.
Well, the reason why that works so well is because they utilize basically a system that works, I'm trying to think of... Extra Credits has an episode on this where it works like gambling.
Right. Yeah, basically. It preys on gambling addiction. Absolutely.
Yeah, it preys on it uses the same method that a casino uses to get you stuck in this loop of giving them all your money.
Yeah.
And it's really gross when you look into how they've formulated out to not make good games but make addictive games.
Yes.
Right.
And they prey on people, and it's really gross.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like for a lot of these people, if they took a step back and realized that these people were... that this industry has figured out how to prey on people, then they would... Hopefully, I don't know, a lot of people who gamble know, and they still gamble.
Right.
But...
Because it's an addiction. People who smoke crack don't just stop smoking crack. I mean, they know it's bad for them, but...
Right.
It literally is an addiction.
And the thing that sucks about that for the industry as a whole is that what they have done is they've actually become the bad guy that people claimed video games were.
Yeah. Like back in the 80s.
For so long.
Right.
That it addicts people and you waste your life away and spend all your money on video games and stuff like that. And they basically, these other people from outside the industry came in, bought it out, and then made it into what everyone was trying to combat the narrative that they were.
Right.
And so now we're sort of stuck in this middle place where we're like, no, games can be so much more
Right.
But we also have to admit that is a real thing now.
Mm-hmm. Right. Absolutely. And I feel like if you don't talk about it, then nothing will get done.
Right.
You know, I talk about it and I bitch so much because I fucking care.
But I feel like the industry as a whole is afraid to talk about it because they feel like the minute they publicly acknowledge that they're preying on people, that there's an addiction problem, that people are losing their lives to games,
right?
Then suddenly you have, like, you know, CNN and Fox News and everybody will fucking haul ass with that shit.
Absolutely.
And the headline everywhere is going to be, video games really do cause addiction and ruin lives.
Right.
Then everyone's stock value crashes.
Right. Exactly.
It's sticky.
Getting back to the point I was making earlier.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. Anyway, like, there's loot boxes scattered everywhere, you know, blah blah blah. The game was just released, like, it was either today or yesterday, and apparently the game's true ending is locked either behind excessive, and I mean excessive amounts of grinding, or loot boxes. You can use loot boxes to get to the actual ending of the fucking game. Or excessively grind throughout the game. Because apparently what people are saying is that, like, there's these quests hidden throughout to, I think it's dominate the rest of the orcs and whatnot. And they assumed it was for, like, those people like me who are obsessive completionists.
Right.
Which, that's totally fine. Except that's not what they're for. That's to beat the game. So...
Yeah, let's put a pin in completionists because I do have something to bitch about. But it's not relevant to what you're saying right now. It's on that thread, but it's like in the left lane.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, they've gone so far. For, like, I've been following this shit for the past couple of weeks, and I'm not buying the fucking game because I'm not giving them my fucking money for that. But it's more shit every single week, and it's right on launch day. I hear, oh, you can't even beat the game. Well, you can, but you can't.
Yeah.
Unless you fork over your money.
Yeah.
And that really fucking pisses me off.
Yeah, it's not what... If I pay for a game, I should get the game.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or you should make it clear that buying the game isn't... Or, like, buying the disc is not buying the game. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, like... World of Warcraft does not mislead you into thinking
no, it doesn't.
that when you purchase the CD, that you get the whole
everything.
game.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it's misleading. Like, they're like, we're coming out with this game, and you go and you spend $60, and it's like, oh, but you're not done yet.
Right.
Yeah, you know?
Right. It's like,
and I think the hope is that you'll start playing it and want more, and be willing to spend the extra money on more.
And see...
But in that sense, I feel like demos... Whatever happened to demos? Because like, back in the day, like, when you would... Like, back in PS1 days, you would get a disc for one game, and it would have a demo for another game. Like, either you could unlock it,
it was like a code. I remember Spyro was on Crash Bandicoot Warped.
Yeah.
Like on Tekken.
Up, down, down, left, right,
yeah.
Square or whatever.
But that wasn't why I bought Spyro.
One of the Tekken games, before you even start the game, like, before you even get to the menu of Tekken, there's, like, a little demo for some space shooter game.
Yeah, you used to spend hours just on the space shooter demo. And I used to spend hours on the Spyro demo. That's why I went and got that Spyro game when I could. Because I had the demo. What's wrong with giving people demos?
I feel like you would actually get a lot more of a profit by... You know, teasing everybody. Absolutely. Yeah. I know they still do demos, but I can't be arsed to do any of them right now, to be honest. And I have to wonder, because there was a lot of controversy going around about demos, because the demo you played was not the game you were going to play.
Yeah.
Especially nowadays.
I was going to say, like, the old school demos, where
Absolutely,
you basically just got the first level.
Right.
And then they took away whatever fundamental piece you needed to get past that level.
Right.
So you could stay within that level, but you couldn't get past it.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you wanted to, you had to get the full version, which had that key in it, or whatever.
Right.
That's why I bought Castle Crashers. Mm-hmm. Because it stopped you right before you killed the final boss of the first level.
Yeah.
And it teased you just enough to go, okay,
I want to keep going from here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But now it's either, like, it's a free demo that's not the game.
Right.
Or essentially, like, with what we were talking about, like, you pay $60 and all you got was a demo.
Right. Yeah. Right.
And the only way to beat the first level is to pay more money to get the full item pack that's required to beat the game.
Or, like, the DLC that's actually the second half of the game.
Yeah.
Right. I don't hate DLC. I actually love DLC.
Yeah, DLC is great.
I love the idea that after I beat a game, oh shit, there's more.
Yeah. I like that that they wanted to expand upon this game, but it wasn't enough to be a game in its own right.
Right. I like having French fries and chicken right next to my burger. I did not buy the buns and then I'm getting my meat and cheese as DLC. I want my French fries and my chicken as my DLC.
They just give you the patty.
Right.
And you have to pay for everything else to go on the burger, piece by fucking piece.
Right.
Yeah. Or you just eating regular old patties.
Nobody wants a fucking patty.
Is a patty something or nothing?
If I spend $60 on a game, and I don't like what I'm playing, and someone tells me, well, if you buy everything else, the game becomes fun, I don't give a shit. Because the product you gave me, the product you sold to me, wasn't even finished then.
And essentially what they all do is that, a year or two after the game's release, then they release, like, the Game of the Year edition, which basically has all of the DLC that was required to begin with, all together for basically the same price the original game was when it came out.
Right.
So, like, all you've done is incentivize me, the buyer, to always wait until 2 years after your game comes out for the Game of the Year edition, and then buy that used.
Right.
For, like, $20.
Yeah, oh my god.
And I get the whole shebang.
Right.
So, really, you've incentivized me to give you far less money than I would have on release date if you just weren't douchebags about it.
Right. Obviously, people are still out there pre-ordering the shit and still supporting it because it's still fucking happening.
Right.
I really don't know what else I can do except just not give them my money and give my money to companies.
Financially, I don't support that shit.
Right.
Fuck you.
And I think what's also important is to support companies that do right things and show that, hey, you can be just as profitable if you do shit the right way. That's why I was really happy to see Hellblade do really well, because they did shit right.
Right.
And it did fucking great. People fucking supported what they were doing. I think that's just as important as not supporting what Konami and EA does.
Real quick, just a side note, fuck season passes.
Fuck season passes, fuck pre-orders, fuck all of that.
No, I'm down for a pre-order.
Depends on what it is.
Like, in terms of, like, if I pay, like, $5 now, I can get the game the day that it, like, I have that game is set aside for Chainey. And when I get there, they got my game ready.
When I say fuck pre-orders, I mean fuck, okay, I pay an extra $5 on this game, and then when the release date comes out for this multiplayer game, I get the good shit.
Oh, no. I just mean, like, I get the game. I've already paid for the game, so I don't have to worry about on release day the game being sold out, and I can't get to it.
Right, that's fine.
That's a lot different, because that goes for games that, basically sell out on the first day.
Yeah, if I'm going to pre-order, it's for that purpose. It's a game that I know is going to fly off the shelves, and I don't want to wait for it to get back on the shelves for me to get it. Because generally speaking, I can't just go, I'm married, I have kids. I can't just go to GameStop every day until they have it back.
Wait in line. Or, like, on release day, wait in line.
Yeah.
What
with 2 kids going, can I get this one? Can I get this? Mom, look! There's a Pikachu book bag!
What pisses me off are the pre-order packages. Mm-hmm. That's like, no, it's not enough to just fucking pre-order something nowadays. No, you have to get, like the silver pre-order package, which is like, oh, this comes with, like, this mode and this shit. Or you can get the platinum pre-order package. You know, like, it's gross. It's absolutely gross.
Coming back to something that I was gonna say earlier, so you were talking about, completionism, right?
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm having technical difficulties here.
It's fine.
So my thing is more, it's kind of different, but it's against, Bethesda does this a lot, like with Skyrim, and Dragon Age Inquisition did this bad. Collectibles that give me 0 in-game reward, but are a pain in the ass to collect.
Right. Like, the wine bottles.
Yeah.
No, worse than the wine bottles, I'm more okay with, because if that was the only thing, it'd be like, oh, okay, it's a collectible. But no, they don't just have the wine bottles. They have those goddamn shards.
Oh my god.
And supposedly the loot is what's supposed to make that good, but I can build better loot than that halfway through the game.
Yeah.
And I, like, which, that's something else about Inquisition, where they made the crafting mechanics so good that getting loot immediately became unsatisfying once you hit a certain level.
See, crafting systems in games are a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
And for that very reason. You don't want your crafting system to overshadow everything else. For me, I'd say a good alternative would be a crafting system that offers a different experience, but not necessarily a better one.
Right. You should still have weapons out there that you cannot craft.
Right.
But are awesome.
Right. Right. When I go into, like, this dungeon, and it's hard as shit, all the enemies have been kicking my ass, I finally get to the end, open that treasure chest, I don't want a fucking dirk.
Yes. Or a fucking, like a foot soldier's helmet.
Yeah.
You know? But the shards were so aggravating to get. And there were so many of them. And then it wasn't just the shards, it was the mosaics, too. And all you get when you get done is a picture.
Yeah.
Of nothing.
Yeah.
Fuck, like, I am a completionist, and so it irks me to not do it, but I went through all of that trouble. Like, Legend of Zelda mastered the collectibles game.
Oh, yes.
They are, like, the king of the collectibles, because every time you complete any of those little collectible side quests, there is, excluding the Gold Skulltulas and Ocarina of Time, where after 50, that is the most disappointing win. I just found 50 of these motherfuckers and you gave me a rupee I can't even fit in my wallet. Right? Like,
yeah.
But you gotta do it like that. Like, if I find all the heart pieces, now I have more health.
Right.
If I find all the little bugs in Twilight Princess, I get a heart piece, which contributes to more health. You see what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
give me a reason.
If I find all of the fairies in Majora's Mask, I get a power-up. I get my defense levels are raised, or whatever. Like, give me an in-game level up every time I do that in some way. Like, with a game like Dragon Age, you could have given me more magic or more defense or more constitution. It's so easy to do that in a game like that, but they don't do it. Bethesda's terrible about it too.
Absolutely.
Like, just endless fetch quests
that really don't have any reward.
Yeah.
Except, like, vendor trash.
Vendor trash.
Vendor trash.
Yeah.
Just picking up so much shit and selling it off for, like, maybe 30 gold, and then you're like, well, I've wasted my fucking time.
And then, like, even in the dungeons that are, I guess, like, higher level, you find, like, a master-locked chest, and then...
You'll find, like, you might even find ebony armor in there. By that time, I already have a full set of Daedric. I don't care.
And it's, or you'll find like an iron greatsword that's like like buffed with magic or whatever. But it's such a shitty sword that I could make an elven sword right now that's 10 times better.
Yeah. And apply it with the same fucking buff.
With the same buff.
So, like, you completely outclassed your little treasure system.
Yeah.
And I feel like that took away a lot of what Skyrim was going for. Because that was something in Oblivion that I was a very big fan of. Because you had no crafting system in Oblivion as far as weapons went. So, when you found a good fucking weapon in the dungeon, it was like, oh shit, I can fucking use something now.
Mm-hmm. Like, speaking of Legend of Zelda, in Breath of the Wild, they actually introduced, because generally in the past, Zelda games, every item you found was necessary for the game. But in Breath of the Wild, they actually sort of, included a sort of loot system in a way. It's unique, but it's basically, you can find lower and higher level weapons. But they did a good job of making you keep leveling up. The more you got done, the more you level up in the weapons that you hold in your your inventory, right? And even then, like, on the vein of collectibles, you collect all the little Koroks and you can increase your inventory space or upgrade your shields or whatever. Like, I'm so done with giving me pointless quests.
Right.
Every quest, in my opinion, every quest in a game should have a point thematically within the game and an in-game reward that's worth the trouble I went through to complete the quest.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Or at least have the quest, like, have a good little side story.
That's what I'm saying, like, make thematic sense. Like, maybe it's not the most, glorious quest that you can do, but it tells this little side story that in some way relates back to the theme of the overarching story in the game.
Yeah, because, like, there's a quest in Dragon Age Awakening that it's random. Like, you talk to a random chick in the Chantry in
Amaranthine. Who can't find her husband.
Yeah, and she's like, you talk to her and she's like, I can't find my husband, he disappeared. And then she sends you on a fucking goose chase. That shit is
so sad.
Yeah, she sends you on a goose chase, and then you go back to her and she's like, well, maybe he's here. And then it's like their old house that got destroyed because of the Darkspawn. And then you go to the house and he fucking killed himself. And she's like, the whole time, she's like, I think he left because I can't do anything for him and I'm just a bad wife. Yeah. And he leaves a note that's like, I can't do enough for you. I'm a bad husband.
And the whole story is sad, but it ties into just, like, the hopelessness of the blight of the game.
Right.
Yeah. Or the setting that you're in.
And that... all you get from that is XP.
But that hit you.
Yeah.
And it's memorable.
Yeah.
like as soon as you said a lady in the Chantry, I was like, oh, the guy that killed a dude. That hits you in your heart places.
Yeah.
And you walk away from the game a little different. And that should be, in a lot of ways, the goal.
Absolutely.
Is to make the player walk away a little different, to have made them feel a feeling that they would not normally have felt just in their everyday life. That's the point of games, right?
Right. It's supposed to elicit, like, it's art. I absolutely am one of those, video games are art kind of thing, and it's supposed to elicit emotion. That's the whole point.
Yeah, and when you reduce the game down to doing mundane tasks over and over and over again, you essentially just recreated reality. And that's not what I play video games for. If I want to just do dishes for the sake of doing over and over and over again every day, then I'll just live my regular life. I don't need to get on a video game to do the same mundane, pointless tasks over and over and over again.
Have you seen that article from, like, 2009 where Bethesda was like, yeah, Skyrim's going to come out and it's going to have an endless amount of quests. And it was like the first game of its kind to do that. And everyone was losing their shit. They were like, oh, that's so awesome.
And that's like the number one complaint about Skyrim now.
And that's like the number one complaint for basically any RPG now. It's just endless
There's
fucking
like 18
side quests.
guys that are like, get this sword from this dungeon. And it's like an iron fucking sword.
It's important to my family.
You get 15 whole XP.
Yeah, like, don't even get a level up from the dungeon.
Yeah.
It's just like, so I wasted my time.
Yeah.
with this dumbass fetch quest.
Like, it's like it's filler for a game to make it appear as if it's bigger than what it really is. Mm-hmm. Is really what it comes down to.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's basically like you put a bunch of crust in a little bit of pizza.
Right, yeah.
Nobody eats the crust.
Right.
We don't eat pizza for the crust. Nobody eats pizza for the crust. If you do, I don't trust you as a person.
Right.
Unless you stuff that crust with cheese.
Yeah.
Make good side quests. There you go.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Unless you stuff the crust with cheese, don't put it in the game. Cut the crust off. No one likes the crust.
I could sit here for another 40 minutes talking about the problem with open world games, but I've already taken up 40 minutes.
Well, for those of you listening, head over to
Critical Hit,
youtube.com/Critical Hit, and listen to Tyler bitch about the video game industry. This is fun.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today.
You're welcome.
I'm sure our listeners would have been very bored if I was just talking to myself. So hi everybody, I'm by myself and I'm talking to a microphone alone in a room. This is exhilarating.
So I went to the store today. Talk about crazy, am I right?
Plenty of YouTubers who do it. I mean...
I'm not gonna completely go off on this tangent, but but people watching vloggers blows my mind. I don't get it. Yeah, I don't understand why that's a large... The only thing I can think is it's people who live vicariously through other people.
I guess.
Like they watch their life and they're like, oh, their life is so great. Like, I know somebody who vlogs, and don't get me wrong, they're nice people, nice family, it's a nice channel, it's them, it's her, she's got 4 boys, and it's all, like, them doing family stuff together, and it's nice, and it's heartwarming, but it's like, I can't watch just you living your life. Yeah. Maybe it's because I have my own kids, my own boys. So instead of watching someone else spend time with their kids, I'd rather go spend time with my kids, right. You know? But yeah, I don't get the vlogger thing at all.
Well, I just going on my own tiny tangent, but I don't like usually when people have a channel and they have a set kind of content that they do, you don't really want to change that. Too much,
yeah.
Like, Cinnamon Toast Ken was a gaming channel, and he played games, and that's really all he did. And I subscribed and I watched him, because that's the kind of shit that I like. And then, like, his wife got pregnant, and then he, like, kind of mentioned it. Mm-hmm. But then, as soon as that kid was born... He, like, maybe once a week uploaded a gaming video, and the fucking rest of it was baby blogs. And it was like, make a different channel.
Yeah, I understand that. The only defense I'll have for him, as someone who played a lot of video games and then had kids. That's a much... Like if you upload daily videos of him playing games, it's probably a much more difficult thing for him to do.
I get that.
And... people have a tendency to feel personally connected to the YouTubers that they're watching. Yeah. More so, I've noticed, than any, like, TV star. They feel personally connected.
Well, because, like, even if those YouTubers are playing a character, it's still almost...
It's a much more personal platform.
Right. Yeah. Because they're talking directly to the camera. It
really blurs the line between social media and content creators.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I think, like, if Markiplier or PewDiePie were to have a baby...
Oh, dude.
They could just upload videos of their kids for the rest of...
And all of their fan base.
Yeah, because their fan base would feel personally like they had a baby, too, or something, you know what I mean?
Right. Like, or you'll have the other side that will send his baby mama death threats because they took away their precious Markiplier.
Yeah. Or that. Yeah. People are crazy.
Yeah.
Because that's literally happened. Like, he didn't have a kid or anything, but, like, as soon as they find out he's got a girlfriend, they, like, send her death threats. And they're like, how could you do that?
That's so scary.
It is! Like, holy shit, what is wrong with you?
they're young a lot of the times, though. Yeah. Like, Markiplier is a very large, young fan base.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why we're not family friendly on here, because I don't want a young fan base.
Yeah.
Young fan bases are crazy. They show up at your house and they, like, they base their self-esteem on whether or not you address their question and shit.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't want that responsibility. Adults only here.
But yeah. The question.
Time for the question. So the question this week, I thought it was fitting for the guest that we have today, is what do you think of the status of couch co-op? If you would like to send in a question, you can send it to southernsinnerspodcast@gmail.com. No spaces, no capitalizations, just southernsinnerspodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, our question this week is, what do you think is the status of couch co-op games? I would like to start. Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and take that away from you. I will start.
So recently I actually went on a quest to buy a couch co-op game so that I could play with my stepson.
Right.
I was specifically looking for a game that we could play together that was of a difficulty level that an 8-year-old could play on. Right? But was also a couch co-op that we could sit together on the couch and play together.
Right.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Really hard.
Yes.
I ended up buying PlayStation All-Stars, which is actually a really old game.
Right.
Yes.
In terms of the shelf life of games, it was old.
Right.
But I had to go that far back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically just buy a rip-off Smash Bros.
Right.
to get any kind of game. And it blew me away, because when we were kids, that was what we did. We played games together, and there were so many options for us to just sit for hours and bond over this game that we were playing together. And they don't have that anymore, really. It doesn't feel it feels like everything is multiplayer online, but I don't want my 8-year-old online.
Right.
You know? So that's how I feel about it, is like we need more games that are made for us to play together, and also that are more accessible to kids.
Yeah.
Because as cool as I am that video games have become an adult medium, it feels like the kids got left behind in a lot of ways.
Right, because I still grew up with Crash Bandicoot, Spyro, and all of those characters.
Very accessible games and very relatable characters.
I do feel like kids kind of got cheated out on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, if you don't own a Nintendo, like, product at all, there are no kids games for you.
Except for Minecraft.
Yeah.
And that is every kid that I know, that is the game that they play, is Minecraft. And I feel like part of it is because it's the only accessible game to them.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's a game that literally has a mode where you can't die. You know?
Yeah.
And
like other, like, racing games and stuff always had, like, free range. Like, Nikki, when we were kids, she was the free range kid that didn't want to race you. She wanted to get on the free range and just, like, run her truck into a volcano. Or whatever.
Right.
Or, like, Midnight Club.
Yeah,
She'd get on the free run and just, like, crash into other cars on the street and run over stoplights and stuff.
Yeah. But, like, I was super surprised when... What it was a fighting game that we wanted to play. Oh, it was a
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Eyes of Heaven.
It's like a fighting game.
It's straight up just like an arena-based fighting game, and we were really psyched to play it. We're big fans of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and we loaded it up. Come to find out, there is no like
versus
local.
You
versus.
can play online against somebody.
So weird, though.
In a fighting game.
Isn't that the point of fight? Like, I remember Christmas. I'm going to show my age a little bit, but when we were kids at Christmas, we used to put Tekken in. Tekken 3.
Yeah.
To be exact. And, like, me and all of my cousins would have, like, Tekken battles. And not even just Christmas, like, every time we all got together, like, my aunts and my uncles and my mom and dad, like, we would all play Tekken together as a family.
Right.
And have, like, these grand tournaments.
Yeah.
You know?
My dad and I used to play Mortal Kombat with each other all the time.
Yeah.
I'd invite my friends over. We'd all play Mortal Kombat. Or not even just fighting games. Like, we had Mario Party and Mario Kart and shit like that.
Yeah, like when we were kids, we used to play Champions of Norath.
Yeah, which is...
Like, they don't make those kinds of games two-player anymore.
Yeah.
They make it seems like the gaming industry is really, really focused on online multiplayer.
Which is great, but...
Absolutely, because that is, face it, it is where the money is.
And it is where, you know, the industry is going as being more and more of an online platform.
Right.
But people still bond together in person.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Or is that, are we, like, alone in that?
Well,
you know?
Actually, there's a little glimmering shine of hope in the darkness that is the lack of couch co-op games. It was a game that me and her picked up off of Steam. It's called Overcooked.
Oh, yeah.
It's a couch co-op, and it's intended for couch co-op.
Yeah.
As in, try and play it alone. You know?
Yeah, because technically you can, but you will fail. Because it's not built for solo play.
It's probably one of the few games that's for that and doesn't even have a multiplayer online. Which, probably something they missed out on, to be honest. But, regardless. Intended for couch co-op, and that was fun as hell.
Yeah, it's like a little cooking thing. You have little people and you run around a kitchen and everything is timed, but you have it, and it's like you need to communicate.
Right.
And it's like you have to send someone to do this side of the kitchen, and then I have to do the other side, and it's really fast paced and it's really fun, but it's like couch co-op.
Yeah.
Is how you play that game, and it is fun as hell. But, like, that's, like, the only game...
it's like an exception to the rule now.
Right,
though.
because the only other multiplayer games that we have, like, for couch co-op are fighting games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, fighting games are great, but...
we want to play games together.
Right,
sometimes.
yeah. Co-op.
Not against each other.
Like, why can't we have, like, a God of War type game that's... It's couch co-op where it's two people running through these things and fighting these massive retarded beasts.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
And like kind of going back to your stepson, when really the only options you have are fighting games, like he's a very smart kid, but he doesn't quite understand the mechanics of a fighting game yet.
Well, because fighting games are incredibly depth-ridden. That's stuff that takes time to sit down.
Not only that, but like I've said before, I think part of the problem with him is that he doesn't have other kids his age to play with.
Yeah.
Very much. So the only people he has to play with are people like us who have been playing these games for 20 years.
Right.
And we have to try hard to lose to him.
Right.
Right? Or to not just make it where it's just not fun for him.
Right.
You know? Tekken is cool because it has the handicap setting.
Right.
Yeah.
And that makes it fun because I can make it put us on more equal footing.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But, you know, they don't give us options where I can sort of carry him through a story.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
that's the kind of couch co-op that I'm missing. You know, that's something that we've been looking for a while.
Yeah.
I feel like there's an entire market out there that's missing out because executives, again, who know nothing about the industry are saying they don't want couch co-op. They just want online multiplayer.
That's not true, man.
Exactly.
It's exactly what they said about survival horror games. I guarantee you they're still saying it about couch co-op.
Oh, yeah. I believe that.
So, gaming execs, if you're listening, make more couch co-ops, please.
Yeah. There is a market. It will blow up.
Yeah, people will be excited to welcome it.
Stop making up these bullshit assumptions about what we want. Because obviously it didn't work the past 6 times you did it.
And two, the more you formulate, the less appealing it becomes.
Right.
Like, even if you look at movies, the superhero genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, Iron Man was a huge success, so then after that, every movie was just Iron Man.
Well, I mean, look at what you just said, the superhero genre. That was not a genre of movie before. It was just like action or something.
Yeah.
Now superhero movie is its own genre.
And they're all just Iron Man.
Right.
They're all Iron Man. Like, I feel crazy every time I watch it. I'm like, this is just another Iron Man. It's a smart-ass, intelligent, protagonist who has the love interest and he goes through it's all the same beats of Iron Man,
right?
And it's annoying. Like if you put Doctor Strange and Iron Man next to each other, I swear they're the same movie.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah,
they're the same movie.
Right.
And I feel like games are getting that way.
Yeah.
Like they're like if you put Inquisition and Skyrim next to each other.
Oh,
put Call of Duty and literally any other shooter that wants to be like them.
Yeah.
But don't realize that Call of Duty already has a market that's being
they already have that
to.
Stranglehold. Yeah.
Right.
And it's you keep trying to make copies of copies of copies of copies. We get tired of eating the same burger.
There's a reason games like...
Throw some bacon on that bitch.
Right.
Maybe some cheddar on top. Like, mix it up. Don't be afraid to throw like an onion ring and some barbecue. I don't know. It sounds weird. It might be cool.
But there's a reason why games like Dark Souls and Cuphead and all those weird out there games, at least for their genres, became so...
popular.
Right, it's because they were different.
It was like a breath of fresh air, like, oh my god, it's not the same game again.
Right.
That's how I feel about it. Ugh.
Yeah. The gaming industry usually leads a really bad taste in my mouth.
Or just, ugh.
Yeah.
Just noises of disgust.
Oh, just fuck Konami. I don't need any context for that. Just fuck Konami. They know what they did.
Alright, you guys, well, I think on that note of disgust at the gaming community.
Not the community, the industry.
Or, I'm sorry, yeah, the gaming industry, not the community. Gaming community is just full of people who want to have sex with your mom. But I think we're going to go out on that note. We have talked to nobody for almost an hour. Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. Thank you guys for being here. What you want to plug your channel again?
Yes, one last time. Critical Hit. I do gaming shit mainly.
If you couldn't tell, he's very passionate.
No, it's been fun. This has been a fun conversation. I like talking about the gaming industry. Part of me wishes that Trey was here because I know he has a lot of opinions, and most of them go back to Diablo is the greatest game that was ever made. Either Diablo or League of Legends, but either way, those are the two greatest games ever made, and no one can ever do anything that's any better than those games. I don't know, maybe I'll get him to commentate on this next podcast, so he can throw his 2 cents in there.
I would love to hear it.
Yeah. Alright, you guys will like, subscribe, hit the little bell, leave a comment below. What is your biggest complaint about the gaming industry today? Love to hear your thoughts. Alright, bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.